Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. We've all been there, right? You walk into your living room, you glance over at your absolute favorite houseplant, and boom, there's a pile of once gorgeous leaves just sitting right there on the floor. Ugh, it is literally heartbreaking. But hey, before you totally panic and, toss the whole pot out the window, let's just take a deep breath. Today, we're going to decode this botanical SOS together. We are turning that heartbreak into serious empowerment. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to read the signals your plant is trying to send you. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our plant doctor roadmap. We're going to start with diagnosing the leaf drop, then we'll dive right into the biology of survival and tackle those tricky watering extremes. After that, we'll cover environmental shocks, natural aging, and pests, before wrapping the whole thing up with a complete care guide for prevention and recovery.
So, Section 1, Diagnosing Plant Leaf Drop. It's time to do a little triage for your plant.
When you see leaves scattered on the floor, you really need to get into a triage mindset. See, leaf drop isn't just some random failure. It's actually the plant actively deciding to abandon ship to conserve its energy. So to diagnose it, your absolute first step is to look at exactly which leaves are dropping and how they physically feel. Like if you've got yellow, soft leaves falling from the bottom and the soil feels super wet or soggy, you're definitely looking at overwatering. But if those leaves are yellow, yet totally dry and crispy, and the soil is bone dry, well, that's underwatering. Now, what about a sudden shower of leaves, even perfectly healthy green ones? That points directly to either acclimation shock because the plant was recently moved, or temperature stress from being near a drafty window or a vent. The clues, they're literally all right there in the foliage. All right, moving on to Section 2, the biology of survival. Let's actually look at why plants drop their leaves in the first place. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that to truly understand plant survival, we have to look at their anatomy. A plant's leaves are incredibly complex. I mean, sure, they act as these amazing little power stations for photosynthesis, but they're also major liabilities. Why? Because leaves are exactly where a plant loses the most water, through a process called transpiration. So picture this. When a plant is under severe stress, maybe it's dying of thirst, its roots are rotting, or it just went through a massive shock, trying to maintain all those leaves becomes a massive energy drain. It just simply can't afford it. So to save itself, it forms what's called an abscission layer. This is a specialized layer of cells right at the base of the leaf stem. The plant literally builds a microscopic wall to cut the leaf off from its own circulatory system, which causes it to fall. It's wild, right? It's a highly calculated biological decision to sever its own leaf just to ensure its course survival. Which brings us to Section 3, watering, the two extremes. Let's look at the top two culprits. Okay, let's talk about the absolute most common reasons that abscission layer forms. We're talking about the extremes of hydration. First up, the undisputed #1 culprit across the board, overwatering. When the soil is just constantly soggy, the roots literally drown and begin to rot. And because those dead, rotting roots can't support the foliage up top anymore, the plant sheds its oldest, least efficient lower leaves to reduce its water needs. They'll turn yellow and feel kind of soft or limp. The treatment? You've got to stop watering, let that soil dry out, and make absolutely sure your pot actually has drainage holes. Now, on the flip side, we have underwatering. In a severe drought, the plant has to sacrifice its leaves so it can hoard whatever tiny bit of water it has left for its vital stems and roots. In this case, the soil is hard and bone dry, and the falling leaves are totally crispy. The fix here is a deep, thorough rehydration. Using a method like bottom watering is fantastic for this, letting the soil slowly soak it all up. Let's jump into Section 4, environmental shocks and stress. Because sometimes the stress comes from sudden external changes. So what if your watering is absolutely perfect? Well, then we have to look at external stressors. And you really need to remember this golden rule. Plants are total creatures of habit. Think about where your plant came from. Nurseries and greenhouses, they are engineered perfection. I'm talking perfect light, perfect humidity, perfect temperature. So when you bring it home to your living room with its much lower light and dry air, it experiences acclimation shock. It throws a little bit of a dramatic fit, honestly, and drops a bunch of leaves as it tries to adjust. You see this all the time with sensitive diva plants, like the fiddle leaf fig or the ficus audrey. Now, the cure for this kind of shock isn't more water or extra fertilizer, it's literally just patience. You just need to put it in its forever home and leave it alone so it can adjust. And then there's acute temperature stress. If you ever see a sudden, dramatic shower of perfectly healthy, bright green leaves hitting the floor, you need to go check for a draft. A sudden blast of cold air from a drafty window, maybe an open door or an air conditioning vent, will shock a tropical plant right to its core. This triggers that defense mechanism we talked about, causing it to drop leaves almost instantly. The required fix is super simple. Just move the plant away from the draft to a much more stable location.
Next up, Section 5, Natural Aging and Pests. We are comparing the natural life cycle against tiny invaders. Let's explore two polar opposite causes here. First up is natural aging. Listen, sometimes it really is just the circle of life. As a plant grows, it naturally sheds its oldest leaves, usually the ones at the very bottom of the stem, just so it can redirect all its energy into pushing out gorgeous new growth at the very top. So if you notice just one or two bottom leaves turning yellow and dropping, but the rest of the plant is vibrant, green, and thriving, well, your official diagnosis is healthy plant, and your prescription? Do absolutely nothing. Just clear away the fallen leaves and enjoy your beautiful plant.
However, if it's an active biological attack, doing nothing is definitely not an option. Pests like spider mites or scale or even severe fungal diseases, they act like little vampires. They drain so much energy out of the plant that it simply cannot support its own foliage anymore, which prompts a severe, rapid leaf drop. If you spot any weird webbing, sticky residue, or actually see tiny insects crawling around, you need to act fast. You absolutely must aggressively isolate that plant from the rest of your collection and then treat it with an appropriate insecticide or fungicide to stop that energy drain in its tracks. And finally, Section 6, Prevention and Plant Recovery. This is your complete care guide. Now that we totally know how to run a proper triage, let's shift gears from reactive problem solving to proactive, everyday care. So the crucial point is this: mastering the basic fundamentals prevents almost all future heartbreak. Just look at these 3 best practices for keeping those leaves exactly where they belong. First, establish consistent watering because, like we saw, the vast majority of issues stem from that one single factor. Second, find a really good spot with the right light and just leave the plant there. Remember, they seriously hate moving. And third, provide a stable environment far away from any dramatic temperature swings. Seriously, if you do these 3 things, you are going to solve the vast majority of future leaf drop issues before they even have a chance to start. But of course, once the damage is already done, pretty much every single plant parent asks this exact same question. Will the dropped leaves ever grow back? I've got to give you the tough love clearly here. No, they won't. Once a leaf falls, the plant is not going to magically regrow a brand new leaf in that exact same spot on the bare stem. Our goal as plant doctors isn't to somehow reverse time. Our real goal is to fix the underlying problem to stop any further dropping. We want to stabilize the plant so it can eagerly start producing fresh new growth from the top, or maybe even branch out and become bushier. And this brings us right to our final thought. You now completely understand the abscission layer. You know the clear difference between a crispy leaf and a soggy leaf, and you know exactly how to spot acclimation shock. So the next time you see a stray leaf sitting on the floor, are you going to panic? Or are you going to put on your plant doctor hat, look at the evidence, and really listen to what your plant is trying to tell you? Armed with this complete care guide, I know for a fact you are ready to confidently diagnose and treat your leafy companions. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and happy growing,